Hello and welcome to the video everyone. Today we're going to go into detail about the chessboard. So as you can see on the screen, this is the chessboard. It's made up of 64 squares. Each square is either light colored or dark colored square. The squares alternate between light and dark colors. So there are 32 light colored squares and 32 dark colored squares. So how the chessboard is set up is that you always have the light color square on the bottom right. So if I flip the board to black's perspective, you will have the light colored square on the bottom right from their perspective too. So the next is algebraic notations. So what are these in chess? These are the combination of letters and numbers that will be used to record chess moves. Just like a graph, you will use letters from A to H to denote the columns and the numbers from 1 to 8 to denote the rows on the chessboard. So for this square, it will be denoted as E4 as you go 5 columns here. So from A to E, it's E. And if you go 4 rows up, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4. So it will be denoted as E4. Likewise, this will be denoted as D5, and this will be denoted as E5, and this will be denoted as D4, and so on. So I'll be adding more on the subject of for how chess moves are recorded in another video. So for now, we'll leave the topic of algebraic notations at that for the chessboard. Now in chess terms, we do not call column and rows on the chessboard column and row, but rather file and rank. So this column is known as files, and these rows are known as ranks. So why you ask? Because chess is a game that is said to have its roots in military strategy since ancient history. And file in military terms means front to back, or one behind the other, whereas rank in military terms means side by side or close abreast. So from now on, we shall refer to the columns as files and rows as ranks on the chessboard. Soon you'll understand more about the whys when we'll be talking about the chess pieces and pawns in another video. Note that I said chess pieces and pawns, but for now, let's refer to all of them as pieces. Now let's set up the starting position of all the pieces on the board. The pawns go on the second rank, while the pieces go on the first rank in a starting position. So let's put the pawns down. Then for the pieces, the rooks go on the corners, knights just beside the rooks, and just beside the knights are bishops. Now for the king and queen, the king goes to the color of the square opposite to his. So if it's a white piece, then it will go to the dark color square, and the queen will be placed just beside the king on the light color square of the chessboard. So it's the same for black. So let's set it up from the black's perspective. So the rooks go on the corner, the knight's just besides the rook, the bishop's just besides the knight. So for black, it's going to be on the light color square, and the queen just beside the black king. So this is our starting position. Now that we have set up the starting position, let's get back to the chessboard. Now I want to talk about the middle lines that divide the board, which will help you understand more about the chessboard. I'll be denoting two lines that will divide the board in horizontal and vertical sections. So for the first one, I will draw two horizontal arrows, and between the two horizontal arrows is the line. So let's draw those. So as you can see, between the two horizontal arrows, this is the line. This line will help you understand about territory, just like the lines on the map that divides countries. These lines shall divide the territory on the chessboard into halves for both the players. And why I added this detail is that it will help you understand chess in a more dynamic manner. So you have the white side below the line and the black side above the line. Now, when your pieces are able to see or have vision of a square on the opponent's side, or they are able to move to those square either by moving there or by capturing the piece occupying that square, we'll call it influencing control. Let's leave it at that for now about territory and the horizontal middle line. Now for the second line, that is the vertical line, which is between the two vertical arrows I've drawn on the chessboard. This line will help you understand about the king side and queen side. Why do we call it this? It's simply because of the placement of the king and queen at the starting position on the game. This line will be crucial for understanding chess strategy and which side you want to focus on, depending on pawn structures and other factors, which we will learn later on in other videos. Let's leave it at that for now about king side and queen side and the vertical middle line. The final thing I want to talk about is the center squares. So these are the d4, d5, e4, and e5 squares. I like to refer to these squares as the highway on a chessboard, as you're able to reach from one side of the board to the other quickly. These squares are extremely important in squares, as most of the times the one who has the good influence over the squares will have an easier game, as they will be able to restrict their opponent's piece mobility and be able to move their pieces around the board without much hindrance from the opponent. Center squares can be extended to be referred as the larger center, which will include these squares I'll be highlighting. So I'll be talking about the center squares in more detail in other videos later on. Let's leave it at that for now about the center squares. That concludes the video for Chessboard Explained in detail. Hope you liked the video. If you have any comments or questions, let me know in the comment section, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.